Hi guys, welcome back to my Instagram. So today we're just going to do a smoky eye. I'm just starting off with my foundation. You guys just really love seeing my foundation being put on. So I'm using my Fenty Beauty foundation and my Match Master, my Dynamic Duo. And I'm using my Revolution concealer in the shade Chestnut, just in the center of my face. As you've noticed, I don't actually take my concealer so far out because I do not like my face to look wide. I'm just using my beauty blender to buff out my foundation. For my forehead, I always use the side that I use to apply my foundation to blend out my concealer, simply because I don't like my forehead to look super bright and overly pigmented. Just using my eyeshadow brush just to blend out my nose highlight, and I love to push it in the center between my brows just to make sure everything is seamless so there's no skin peeking through. And going over again with my beauty blender just to blend out my brightening concealer. I actually use 2 to 3 concealers for this look because I feel like with a smoky eye, your base needs to be pretty flawless. I'm blending out my Fenty Beauty contour stick. I think I'm going to start putting a little bit more contour on my cheeks because I feel like I want the area to be a little bit browner. And I'm just blending out my under eye. This is the Fenty 310 concealer. This is a very bright concealer. You do not have to go this light, but I feel like it just works for the look that I'm going for. And now I'm using my RCMA and my Chanel loose powder combo, which is never going to change. Maybe if I find something better, I might switch it up. And I'm using a little bit more powder than I usually do because we're working with black. When it comes to black eyeshadow, the fallout is usually a bit of a situation. So what we want to do is make sure the powder just catches any of the eyeshadow and not taint my base. For a black smoky eye, you can do your eyes first, but for me that doesn't really work. I don't really like how it looks. Now with a black smoky eye, you don't always have to use a transition color. However, I feel like to make it simple, it just works. So I'm using Swiss Chocolate by MAC just to blend in my crease to my brow bone, just to have that seamless transition from my eyebrows to my black shadow. This will allow the black we are going to use to blend into the eye, creating that smoky effect. You cannot have a smoky eye without the black raising upwards, which I'm going to show you. Taking my favourite gel liner, the Inglot 77, I'm going to use a flat synthetic eyeshadow brush just to pat the black gel on my eyelids. This is really important in order to have that black to be as opaque as it possibly can be. I'm using the MAC 217 just to buff in the colour upwards and side to side. It's important to take your time with this step and work one eye at a time. If you work with both eyes at the same time, you run the risk of the eyeshadow, of the eyeliner drying down, and that will make it very hard to blend. I know it looks pretty crazy right now. However, this is so important in order for the shadow to be as black as it possibly can be. I'm just teasing the eyeshadow, the black base, just to make sure that it slightly diffuses upwards. Now I'm using tiny circular motions with a little bit of black shadow just to blend the perimeter of the black base. I hope you guys have understood exactly what I've said. Now this part is all about patience. Make sure you use that black shadow to blend out the perimeter upwards and outwards. Do take your time. And with hooded eyes, it's really important to look back into the mirror and to make sure the black slightly levels above your crease. Now I'm using the black shadow from the Juvia's Place Warrior 2 palette just to pat on and intensify the black base. And as you can see, I don't have to work as hard because the black base has done all the work for me. And now I'm just going over, making sure it's incredibly blended. So yeah. Using graphblack by MAC just to balance the eye. You cannot do a smoky eye without putting black in the waterline. I am making the rules here, LOL. You can do what you want, but I think the eye looks always so weird when you haven't got any black balance in. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use the same black shadow just to blend on my lash line, and this is what's going to give us that balance. Using my glitter glue to prepare my eyes for my glitter, by NYX. I'm just using a small amount just to apply on my eyelids, just to make sure I don't have any fallout. Please use what is safe for the eyes. And now I'm using MAC's black glitter on my eyelids to just give it that sparkle. I hope you guys can see it. With cameras, you can't really see the glitter, which is really annoying, but it looks really sparkly in real life. I love taking black all the way under my lash line, so that's what I'm going to do. I just feel like it balances the eye better. And now I'm using my bronzer by Morphe just around the perimeter of my face and buffing away my under eye powders like I usually do. Just my usual blusher in Devil by MAC and my highlighter in Bobbi Brown just to highlight the center of my face. Nothing new, nothing interesting, but I always wear a little bit more blusher when I've got a smoky eye, even when I've got a blue eye. For me, I just feel like it balances my complexion the way I like. So let's talk about lips. I'm using the Chestnut lip liner by MAC just to overline my lips. I overline slightly, it just works for me. And I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills lipstick in soft brown. I wanted to go for something more pinky than I usually go for, and I think it just works. And I'm blending them both in, and I'm using the lip gloss by MAC. It's actually a limited edition gloss, but the alternative is Chocolit by Fenty Beauty, and it just works. And yeah, so I'm using that to blend in my lips, and it's just gonna look amazing. Using my fan to melt in my setting spray and just to make sure my base is bulletproof. I think everyone should adopt this step. It really does work. And now I'm just going to pop on my wig. I'm using a black middle part, and I think it works with a smoky eye. I couldn't be asked to do with my closure. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.